Hello everyone, Floppy Waffle 69 here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a little battle report on the Tier 9, I guess, special ship, premium ship, more of a special ship, which is, oh, no, it is a premium ship. What the hell am I talking about? It's Tier 9, the USS Georgia. The USS Georgia, obviously you're wondering what this ship is, what it does, what it excels at, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit because this ship is quite an interesting ship, and quite its history in game has come, a long way too, and is quite interesting as well. Obviously, this ship was introduced way back in the day for coal. I don't recall the exact price. I'm sure I could have figured it out before I recorded the video, but I chose not to because it's really fucking irrelevant. But this ship was introduced for coal way back in the day, and part of Wargaming's, I guess, statement they made on their dev blog or whatever it was back in their website, they said that in, 4 or 5 updates, we're removing 10 plus ships because of their popularity in game, which I think was true to some extent, but not the main reason we wanted to remove a lot of these ships. I think a lot of the reason we removed a lot of these ships were to create that artificial scarcity, get that FOMO, justify putting them in loot crates and people gambling for them because they were good. So instead of addressing the issues with said ships, such as buffing and nerfing the particular ships to make them more in a balanced state, we're just going to remove them the game to have people encourage them to throw their money at Santa containers, and it does work, sadly. Fortunate for me, though, I was able to pick this ship up for Cole way back in the day, and she's a blast of a ship. I cannot say enough good positive things about her when you are playing her. When you are on the receiving end of this ship, if this ship is played right and the captain, understands the game functionally, this ship is a menace to deal with. This ship just has so much going for it, and I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. But I think the first thing we can address that this ship has going for it is what you're seeing on screen. This ship is topping out at, 38 knots, which is insane, okay? Because it has this speed boost on this ship, which this speed boost is, I believe, an improved speed boost, if I'm not mistaken. This is the plus 15%, 180-second duration speed boost, which is crazy for a battleship. Just absolutely ludicrous. To put that in perspective, the French battleships, I believe, have the plus 7, standardized speed boost. So interesting that this ship gets that. Then we come down to the 6 457mm guns that this ship has as its main armament. And 6 guns, again, I think a lot of people don't really like the 6 guns in this game. A lot of people say that, I always find that my dispersion, I'm not hitting my shells, blah, blah, and so and so, basically go cry me a river. And where I'm not going to dismiss those claims, for me, I've never really had a problem. And the main reason I really don't have a problem with those issues that people are raising is because of the reload time. I don't know why people are fucking crying about these ships that they can't hit anything if your reload time for this is 26 seconds base. And chances are you're probably taking the main bounty mod 3 in your slot 6, so your reload's going to be even faster. So if I'm shooting shells, relatively quick downrange, then why the fuck does it matter? I don't get it. I don't understand it. But if you don't run it in that slot or whatever to get your reload down, again, this is just me speculating. Chances are some people might run the secondary mods because, kind of diverting, attention away from the main battery. We have that improved secondary suite that a lot of ships have, such as like the Massachusetts and the Ohio. I know when this ship came out too, and then the Ohio came out shortly after, or was teased, and then obviously we had the Massachusetts. A lot of people were upset and wondering why we didn't have an alternative United States battleship line, like our secondary brawlers. It's kept releasing, the secondary playstyle for Americans behind premium ships, which again continued. And thus you could even go down further to Tier 7 with the West Virginia 44. And then again, Wargaming releases the Vermont line at the time, which nobody really wanted. Now it is extremely popular because, in my opinion, the Vermont line is overbuffed, especially, well, not the line, mainly the Vermont is overbuffed, so people want to go for it because it's an easy ship and it just does massive colossal damage no matter what. No matter where you hit on the ship, you're just going to do fucking shit tons of damage, which is rather disappointing given the fact that I feel the Vermont should be a little bit more of a, quality rather than quantity. in that regard, and they try to play on that with the 40-second reload and all this blah blah. But realistically speaking, again, I never really had an issue with the Vermont when playing her. Only when I'm playing against her because I find it incredibly frustrating because the thing can just fucking nuke me from anywhere, especially when I'm playing in my lovely cruisers and I'm fully angled and I'm doing whatever I can to mitigate damage. So basically, unless I miss the entire salvo or dodge the entire salvo, I'm going to be taking an absolute fucking shitstorm of damage. And again, that's just not really that fun. Touching on those secondaries that I don't want to divert too much attention away. Your secondary DPM is 270,000 with actual hitting DPM at, let's say, your standardized 11-kilometer range. Or sorry, your 11.3 kilometer range of 34,628, which actually isn't terrible. And then we go into ranges like of 6 kilometers and you're hitting around 69,000. Again, not bad. Pretty damn good. But it's one of those things where I do spec in indirectly to the secondaries. I don't go on a full secondary build because I don't think it's really worth it. And then a lot of people will say, well, if you're not going to go full secondary build, then it's definitely not worth it because you're just not going to be getting the results out of there that you would be if you did. And I agree. I understand your side of things, but I think that the secondary battery is good enough that you can get some usage out of it in most situations, or in some situations, sorry, if you do spec in just enough to get that range out there and the manual stuff. I don't take any of the module upgrades, I believe. I think I even take the turret traverse. No, I do take the secondary battery mod 3, just because you can't take the aiming systems mod. That's why. And then in the 6th slot, I go ahead and take that aiming systems mod. So that's why the reload is 26 seconds on this thing, to get that improved accuracy. So that's one thing. So I'm sorry I fucked up with that. That's why my reload, as it says on screen, is still 26 seconds because I'm taking that American battleship, like whatever it's called, artillery plotting room mod 3 or whatever it is, that can basically decrease my dispersion even further by like 11% or something like that. It's crazy, right? And so that's what gives me my improved like battle cruiser dispersion style dispersion on this ship. If I'm not mistaken, again, I could be wrong if the ship doesn't have that, but based upon the numbers of horizontal dispersion, like if we go to what is the damn max range of this thing, like 20 kilometers, 216 meters dispersion with 130 meter vertical with a sigma of 1.8, and then only gets drastically better as you slowly, get it within closer. Your vertical dispersion is almost non-existent, which is amazing. So you're going to have basically shells go outward if they're going to miss, either too far, front or back, but you're never going to have a problem with going up or down, which again is more important in my opinion because even if it's a shotgun, it's still going to hit relatively close to the plane, the horizontal plane of where I'm trying to hit the ship's bow or whatnot. Or rather, if it's vertical, it's going to go north or south of the vessel, and that's always an issue. So I'm obviously continuing going down what this thing has going for it as well. Its AA is not half bad. Honestly, I do find myself shooting down a fair amount of aircraft with her. Tier 8 aircraft, especially Tier 10, I can definitely still do and put in work. A super ships is a whole different thing. That is a whole different can of worms that I really wouldn't rather get into at this current moment. She does have HE shells. I never ever shoot them, even though I do see there's some situations you can shoot them. 43% fire chance, 6 fires per minute, 6,400 damage essentially, give or take some change in there. Yeah, there is a time and a place for her. But yeah, as you can see, these secondaries are potent, and they can definitely dish out the pain in their own right, setting those juicy fires, which I believe the secondaries have a good fire chance. Yeah, 15 fires a minute. 300 shells a minute with a 5% fire chance, and they can pen 21 millimeters of armor. 21 millimeters of armor is actually not bad for, I would say, destroyers especially, but then again for cruisers and battleships, you're mainly going to be doing the superstructure pens, and or mainly dealing, your main damage dealer would be your fires. So, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. But yeah, that's just the Georgia in a nutshell. And I don't want to overshadow the game that's going on in the background. Obviously, we're already at 94,000 damage, which again, in its own right, isn't too impressive. We have 2 kills. Again, in my opinion, in its own right, really isn't that impressive. But the game is just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. And you're going to see just the power that this ship has, especially towards endgame. Is really quite incredible. What we're able to do with that plus 15% speed boost. I think a lot of players underestimate what this ship can do, especially in close, and really misjudge your speed a lot. I mean, everyone knows that the 457s hit like an absolute truck and are very fairly reliable and accurate. Have phenomenal pen too. Like I know I didn't mention that on the AP shells. Like the penetration is just pretty damn good. Like if we take a standardized range of, let's say, like a normal battleship range of like 16 kilometers, I mean, you're already rocking 573 millimeters of pen, and you can overmatch 31 millimeters of armor. So go right through the Des Moines 27 millimeter nose because it doesn't mean anything because that's cruisers nowadays. It's just battleship players just can point and click you, and you're gonna have to sit there and take it. Again, which I wish the state of cruisers would change a little bit. And I'm not saying for making cruisers stronger. But I think one thing that they could change a lot would be something to do with kind of like active maneuvering, angling with armor plating that they could do that could help cruisers instead of just sitting there bow tanking or whatnot. Encourage players or cruiser players that if they utilize their armor correctly, they can go ahead and ricochet those armor piercing cells. Because right now it's you're just trying to go nose in, you're trying to dodge, you're trying to do whatever you're doing, it's just not working because um, battleship players don't care, right? They really simply don't care. But I know that's a pipe dream that's never going to happen, right? So what are you going to do? I guess I've talked about a lot about the strengths of the Georgia. I really haven't talked about like the weaknesses of her. I think a big part of the weaknesses of the Georgia are actually two things. One is I'm going to point out one of the more like not known things about the Georgia is I actually think a weakness of the ship is the speed boost. I think because you're so incredibly fast in this ship, it gets you from A to B so incredibly quickly that players really misjudge scenarios, rush in, and die, which is going to lead directly to my number one, my number 2 point here, which is the hull armor on this thing is really not that good. Like I don't know what it is, but like the holes, the Citadel, even when you think you're angled, you're really not. I've still eaten Citadels. And this is the same hole that you see, I believe, transferred up to the Rhode Island at tier 10. The Citadel is very much above water. The armor scheme really isn't up to snuff. Basically coated in 32, 38 millimeters of effective armor, so HE spam is going to send you back to port incredibly quick if you overextend, which is why I talked about the speed boost, allowing players to overextend, sometimes unknowingly. I've seen this happen countless times, right? Countless times. So that's mainly the two big weaknesses, like glaring weaknesses I see with this ship. Other than that, I mean, this ship is incredibly strong. Do I still think she's incredibly strong in 2025? Absolutely. This ship, even from this coming from a cruiser player, this ship really does strike fear in the hearts of men, especially when it comes to cruiser players. This is myself. And I already told you why. The 457s having 31 millimeter of overmatch pretty much negates every counterplay option I have when utilizing my armor. So thus, I'm going to have to utilize smoke screens, island cover, fire with impunity, or just have incredibly good wasad. Because if I don't have my fingers going left or right, side, upside down, whatever it is, I'm going to get sent back to port so fast if I just sit there nose in. Unless I have a turtle back, like the Petro, or anything and I'm close range, yeah, I know. With that being said, players shouldn't get overconfident and think they can just go ahead and shit pump everybody, because I've seen people go broadside to me in my cruisers and they might take the first 15, 20,000 damage off my Des Moines, but then I end up killing them just because they can't match my DPM. And it's just constant DPM. But yeah, you can see, like, even the Dimitri Donskoy, just because he had that 30 degrees auto ricochet on his belt, that's the reason I shattered the one. Or sorry, I ricocheted the one. Other than that, the other three just completely penned him. You know what I mean? So, I don't understand what the eye was doing here, but again, really caught off guard with my speed. I think you would think he was going to come ram me or something, just zoom right around him. No problem. And now I know the big problem here is that Dimitri Donskoy's torps, so I'm going to turn hard in, and I bet you any money his torps will go whizzing by, because the white indicator has to match my 38 knots of speed, so he's probably overleading me, utilizing the white indicator, and it's nowhere near where my ship is, just because I have hands. So you can see the issue. And my secondary is pummeling away, setting this guy multiple fires on this ship. This guy's pretty much out of the game, even before this engagement started. There's just nothing you can do at this point, and I feel incredibly bad for the Dimitri Donskoy because I sympathize, because I actually like that ship. But yeah, going against a Georgia like this at close range, not a chance at all. And again, Cyclones really they're detrimental to cruiser players. I'm sorry. And then yes, unless you have the occasional radar that you can radar and catch DDs off guard and other cruisers, I mean, it really benefits battleships, and that's about it. So, which is rather sad. I mean, yes, you have that DD that can sneak in at 8 kilometers, but if you're a detectable DD, like let's say a Habarovsk or something like that, brutal, right? So go ahead and pick up the Kraken Unleashed. Again, just pummeling broadsides or secondaries, chewing away, utilizing our speed to get from point A to point B so fast. But yeah, you can see why this ship was removed by Wargame, and you can see why people are they seek this ship. They want this ship. This ship is so good, guys, so good. And if you were fortunate enough to get this ship in a second container, I mean, my hats are off to you, because you will have loads of fun with this ship. I can't stress it enough. I've seen people use Halsey on her. And proc his abilities all the time, for faster reload, main better reload, which again can only be crazy on this thing. Can only imagine, right? So yeah, incredibly strong, incredibly strong. But yeah, I wanted to feature because I had this incredible game in her. Ended up picking up an E rank, had a cracking game, whatever this thing is. And I made a short about this a couple, maybe a week or two ago, and I said this was coming soon. This was in the works. This little battle report video. But yeah, now that I finally got it out, I just want to showcase the whole battle to you guys to kind of see just the massive adrenaline junkie game, high octane game that I had in her. So if you have a Georgia, then you are fortunate. You understand what this ship can do. If you don't have a Georgia, if you end up getting Santa Contains, I can only hope that you end up pulling the ship, because she is a blast, an absolute blast to play. So more than enough penetration. Again, when you're that fast, it's hard for enemy battleships turret traverse to really hit hard and hit home. And even when you beat yourself on nothing, your secondaries are still going and humming fast enough and hard enough that they can go ahead and still eliminate the Iowa for you. So, but yeah, overall, very, very fun game. We end up taking it to the team here, taking it to them, and then it kind of sucks because I thought I was going to get 7 kills here because my secondary is humming, but I just couldn't quite get the right lead on this ship. I didn't know if he was slowing down smoking or if he was going forward, but then again, I think our Santander radared, so that really started making him go forward here. So it's just one of those things. It's poo, right? Could have gotten a 7 kill game, but instead we're going to have to settle for a 6, right? I'm at 270 something thousand damage, which is again awesome. I don't know, it could have been my best George game I ever played. I really have no idea. I don't gravitate towards battleships that much, as you've seen on my channel. I'm mainly a cruiser guy. I love my cruisers. But yeah, when I do, look at this. Pick this bad boy up and go ahead and get an E rank in her, because I can't remember the last time I played the Georgia. So. Alrighty guys, well that wraps up the video on the Georgia today. Stay tuned to the channel. I will be trickling out content featuring a couple of the ships you can obtain for free in this next patch or update, which is like the San Diego, GQ Johnny, etc. And eventually down the road as well, I'll be making a down the line series on our next DD line. So anyways guys, stay tuned for more, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out.